Hey, what's up? I'm Noah from PhoneDog.com, and you're watching today's iPhone.
Hey guys, I'm Jake from today's iPhone.com, and here's what's going on this week. As you probably noticed, I'm not in my normal filming location, and that's because I'm in my dorm right now, and I'm looking for a new place to film. But until then, you get a lovely view of my closet. Okay, so obviously the big news this week is the new iPods. There is a new iPod Touch, a new iPod Nano, a new iPod Shuffle. Surprisingly, it seems as though almost every rumor about the iPod Touch came true. It's got a front camera for FaceTime, a back camera that does stills and HD video recording, Apple's super awesome Retina display, and all that is packed into an even slimmer form factor. Literally, now if you go down the spec sheets of the iPod Touch and the iPhone 4, pretty much the only differences are a flash for the camera and a cellular radio. Pair this new iPod Touch with a VoIP application like Skype, and you've got yourself something pretty close to an iPhone with absolutely no contract. Now the iPod Nano got the biggest overhaul, switching from the long, thin form factor to a short, square one. It now more closely resembles the iPod Shuffle than any previous iPod model. The new Nano comes in a bunch of awesome colors, has a clip to clip onto your clothes, and it's packing a tiny multi-touch screen. Now obviously all this stuff is really awesome, but during the event I couldn't help but notice that one feature that a lot of people use in the iPod Nano is no longer there. The camera. Now, it wasn't the best camera in the world, but it was a great thing to have if you wanted to record something on the spot and only had your iPod with you. I find it kind of weird that in updating a product, Apple removed some features. So what do you guys think? Is this new form factor and touchscreen worth losing the camera? Let me know in the comment section below. And finally, the iPod Shuffle is losing that weird sort of stick of gum look, going back to the little square, and it's getting some buttons. iTunes also got a pretty significant redesign. The interface is now all silver, it's sleek, there's an option to view album art list view, and there's a new logo. Probably the biggest thing in this new iTunes, however, is the social networking aspect called Ping. Apple is marketing this as the Facebook of music. Basically, it lets you follow artists on iTunes, and you can create custom mixes with the people that you're following, and your friends who follow you can see what you're buying and liking and rating and all that stuff. Honestly, without integrations with other social networkings like Facebook or Twitter, I really don't know how useful this is going to be, but it'll definitely be interesting to see how this grows over time. Let's see, Apple TV. Right. Apple announced the new Apple TV. It is 25% smaller. Sorry, I'm reading off a computer screen. It is 25% smaller than the old Apple TV, and another huge difference is that there is no internal storage. This is completely a streaming device. You have access to iTunes movie and TV rentals, YouTube and Flickr, and Netflix entire Watch Instantly catalog. And for only $99, this is an awesome option for people that don't have a TV with these features built in already and don't want to purchase something like a Blu-ray player that may have them. And I want one. On the software side of things, we saw a preview of iOS 4.1, which brings many things to the table. Mostly it's bug fixes for things like the Bluetooth or iPhone 3G compatibility or proximity sensor, but it also gives you access to the Game Center, which is like Xbox Live for the iPhone games. It's free and it's really exciting. So I'm excited to check that out later this week when iOS 4.1 is up and running. Don't get too comfortable with iOS 4.1. Whoa, that was so fast. Don't get too comfortable with iOS 4.1, however, as iOS 4.2 is coming out in November. And big news, it's coming out not just for the iPhone and iPod Touch, but for the iPad too. This is giving people with iPads the ability to multitask, create folders, the ability to print right from the device using Print Center, and something called AirPlay, which lets you stream anything from your iDevice to your Apple TV over Wi-Fi. Something interesting about the event, well, something else interesting about the event, is that a reader on the website Mackenstein noticed that when Steve Jobs was talking about iOS 4.2 for the iPad, one of the features he listed that the iPad would be getting was HDR photography. HDR is a camera update that takes 3 separate pictures and then combines the best aspects of all of them to create the best looking picture that you take. Frankly, it seems pretty obvious to me that the next iPad will have a camera, just because Apple's trying to get the FaceTime standard adopted over as many devices as possible. Oh, and also, I want that. Okay, in app news, Daniel takes a look at a game called Epic Citadel. Citadel? Citadel. And the big thing about this game is the graphics. They're amazing. No game like this has ever appeared on the iPhone or iPod Touch, and this really is going to shape the way iPhone games are made now. There's a free beta at the Gaming in the App Store, so definitely check this out, and just to walk around the world they've created, I mean, there's no other word for it but awesome. Moving on, Adriana takes a look at an app called Skyfire. This application, currently in the midst of hopefully getting approved for the App Store, allows you to view any Flash video on the internet. Oh, but wait, it allows you to view any Flash video on the internet in an Apple-friendly way. So technically, Apple has no grounds to deny this application. Hopefully. This application is a full-blown web browser, and when you go to a site that has a Flash video on it, it analyzes the video and then converts it to HTML5 in real time. So you let the app do its magic for a couple seconds, and then you can click this button at the bottom and watch the full video in HTML5 format instead of Flash format. So keep your fingers crossed that this application gets approved, and look out for it in the App Store sometime soon. And finally, I want to address a story I covered a couple weeks back about Apple moving up their shipping dates for the iPad and the iPhone. Fortunately, Apple's product creation has finally been able to meet the demand. If you check on the Apple website, you'll see that the iPad is now shipping in 24 hours. This is great news for anyone interested in this tablet and means no more priority lists. Well, that's it for this week, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and make sure to remember, for more news, views, and reviews, check out today'siphone.com. Yay for awkward smile. Okay, bye.